Words and Music is about songs, and it's about songwriters, people with stories to tell and the gift to make us believers. This week's guests are Amy and Renee from the folk duo Troubadours of Divine Bliss. Words and Music. If we believe the singer, we'll believe the song. Amy and Renee grew up together singing in church, started performing as street musicians in New Orleans, and honed their act and their relationship in Europe, where they lived and played out of their car for 3 years. They're funny, inspiring, and I can't believe how well they sing together. They truly are troubadours of divine bliss. Amy and Renee, welcome to Words and Music.
Thank you.
So, tell me where the name Troubadours of Divine Bliss comes from. I know you're troubadours. That's your life.
Right.
Tell me about divine bliss then, huh?
It was about 2 weeks of writing down words that somehow captured a little bit of who we wanted to be. And it was like a 3 or 4 page list, and we started narrowing it down. And the way we narrowed it down was we wanted to be people who travel around, and thus the troubadours.
And troubadours were actually kind of revolutionary in singing about love, because we didn't fall in love back then. You know, you were told who to marry, and that was it. And so singing about love and the love that comes from the divine, from your spirit, and the happiness that
becomes
comes
bliss.
from that. Exactly.
Okay. I know I had actually heard a story because a mutual friend, Brian Hankey, told me that you had sung together in church and grew up as kids together. Is this true, or is Brian lying?
It is true. It's a horrible rumor.
We've known each other since I was 15 and she was 13.
Mm-hmm. So she's the kid.
She is.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll forever be the kid.
Exactly.
No, I'm just kidding. We met in church. My dad was a preacher of the church, and her dad was the deacon. And
it was a Pentecostal church, a small Pentecostal church in a small town in Kentucky.
So they knew how to get down in the music department.
Oh, yeah. I was the church organist.
Right. See what happens to the church organist?
And Amy was Faith Bunny. Yeah.
What?
That's how it got Faith Bunny.
I've never heard that expression.
Tell them what Faith Bunny is.
Well, I would dress up in a huge white rabbit costume for children's church.
And I would play skating rink music
In the background. And I would prance in front of this horrible, really bad set. And I would be singing my song, I'm Faith Bunny, do-do-do-do, I'm Faith Bunny. And then a gang of thugs would come and beat the crap out of me. And I would be down on the ground, and I would just kind of get up and shake myself off, and I'd be like, that's all right, because I have faith that God's going to take care of me, and there's a reason for everything. And I'd start my little song again, I'm Faith Bunny.
And she'd get beat up again. It was an endless
so
cycle.
you're kind of dumb, but you really get up and do it again. That's the deal.
Exactly.
And then it just all climaxed at the point that her dad kicked my dad out of the church. Yeah.
Oh.
Dun, 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 dun.
That's what
Okay.
makes us the Hatfields and McCoys of the Pentecostal world, you know.
And now we
I'm
wear Faith
speechless.
Bunny suits all the time because we realize that's life.
Did anyone ever get any good video or photographs of you and the Faith Bunny with the bad set?
Luckily, I don't think there are any.
There
I
might
hope
be,
not.
but we do actually have a picture of her dad in a Depend undergarment playing Jesus. That was good. They were really short
And
on
eyeliner.
props there.
I don't think Jesus wore eyeliner, but oh well.
Her dad did.
This might be a little more information than our viewers want to get, but your host wants to hear more about it, so too bad, folks. We'll get the real story later. Okay, so out of high school, then what happened?
I went off to college, and Amy moved to Indianapolis and went to a performing arts school there. And so I'm off at college, she's there. And we kind of stayed on parallel planes for years.
Keeping in touch. I wouldn't say parallel planes. She went to a Christian college, and I went to Hollywood.
Okay, opposite planes. Opposite planes.
Right. But we kept in touch. And
I meant we kept in touch.
Exactly, right.
And stayed, in contact, but both of us living all over the country. And
about 8 years later, something.
8 or 9 years later, that's when we really started getting back in the same area again. I moved to Chicago. She was living in Chicago.
But we were both going through a real spiritual rebirth within ourselves. Unfortunately, we were burned by the church because we had to experience hypocrisy, and of course, what my dad was a horrible thing to do to her father, and so we kind of started on our own spiritual journeys of, kind of, trying to figure it out and heal and find our own paths. And it was really ironic and serendipitous. We were reading the same books and, the Rubaiyat, and starting to, explore our spiritualities in a very similar way, and brought us back together, on a lot of different levels, including musically. And I was in Chicago, and she came to visit me, and
I had a dream I was playing the accordion. And then I went the next night, or like 2 nights later, I went to a one-woman show in Chicago, and lo and behold, this woman is playing an accordion, which you don't see every day. So I went up to her afterwards, and that's when I found out about this little guy who gave accordion lessons and sold accordions, and that's when I got my accordion. Amy had already been performing in a duo up in Chicago.
And then I said, let's move to New Orleans and learn more about music, and just try and do it full-time on the streets.
And it was really that crazy. Like, literally within a week, we packed everything we could fit in a Mazda 626, literally packed in around us, and drove to New Orleans. Didn't know where we were going to live or anything.
Had you started playing together
No,
by that time?
Not really.
We had no idea.
Sounds like a good idea, though.
Yeah. We were just crazy that way. But it was Christmas. And because of our history of playing together in the church, we were like walking around seeing these street performers, and we're like, let's go sing Christmas carols. So we donned little Santa hats and battery-operated Christmas lights and went out there and put a sign out that said, we don't know how to play these instruments. We don't really even know how to sing, but this is for you. And people were really sweet. They were like, keep doing it. Take a few lessons. Keep doing it.
And it's Christmas carols, so people are very, forgiving. Because
and you can do them over and over again. And nobody knows all the words to Christmas carols anyway, so we had a good excuse to use sheet music. And that's how, because people were like, keep doing it, keep doing it. And before long, people were like, what do you call yourselves? And we'd say, Renee, Amy. They're like, no, you need a name. So that got us on the big quest to figure out who we are and what we were doing.
Well, that's quite a methodical way of trying to find out a name, though.
Yeah.
Lists of words and words and words.
Yeah, we couldn't just,
It was hard. We wanted to be really specific about happiness, and we wanted to be really specific about where we feel it, that it comes from. Truly, true happiness really comes from your spirit. And to say God is hard, because then people automatically assume a certain religion, and so we tried to really figure out something that would not put people off immediately, and maybe,
but would capture the essence of who we wanted to be.
When did you start writing your own songs? When did that happen?
We've both always written, wouldn't you say? I mean, not always, but I mean, I know I wrote songs when I was a teenager. I would sit there and write songs for church and write little love, Lauren songs, and stuff like that.
Oh, can't wait to see some of that stuff.
Oh, no, that's we got footage. Actually, we were in a production of Godspell together that is hysterical. Thank goodness you don't have any clips of that.
We can find some.
Oh, no.
Google knows all.
Oh, no.
But then, when you got together, then you started writing songs together, or how does it come from? Do you,
well, I think,
write a song?
like she said, she was probably has always written music, because her father is extremely talented. Her whole family is musically talented. So she was kind of schooled in music her whole life, and so has always dabbled in. And my father actually was a country singer. He just like hotel lounges and stuff like that. But then he became Christian and he stopped playing music. And I guess he was the church, yeah. But he didn't really pass any of that on to me, He didn't teach me guitar or anything like that. I kind of learned it in the church, but then I kind of went to the theater, and so I got out of that. And when we got back together, or right before that, I was in a musical duo, and the girl that I sang with, she kind of started teaching me about songwriting and about, how to play the guitar a little bit. And so it wasn't until later that I really got into music and songwriting. And then we started writing together. And
we started out, the first song we ever played together was on her mom's cabin in Indiana on the front porch. And the first time we ever blended these two instruments, we played John Pine's Angel from Montgomery.
Oh, nice.
Very simple chords, but it was, when we tried doing our harmonies together and adding the instruments, and then from there we got inspired to start writing, and...
Well, you have a song called Scarlet Carnival. Where did that come from? The New Orleans experience?
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty low down.
Yeah.
yeah.
How'd that come about? And would you play it for us?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. It came about first of all, being in New Orleans is endless inspiration. I mean,
I've been there. I've written songs based out of there.
I mean, we could forever write about the characters down there. It's just amazing. And so this specifically, though, we wrote about back in the 1930s-ish, the red light district. That was
it was called Storyville, and another term for it was Scarlet Carnival. During that time period, that's what they called it. And we did actual research, and some of the characters in the song are actual characters that existed during that time period in a book that we found. And some of them are characters that exist there now, you know, because it's just kind of evidence of New Orleans. And I mean, it's hard to just call it dark, and you know, because I mean, unfortunately, Scarlet Carnival it's textured,
colorful and
textured. Yeah.
Well, would you play for us?
Absolutely.
Cool. Maybe it'll inspire one or two of our listeners to go down to New Orleans and write a song themselves.
Oh,
or
well,
sing Christmas
and you've been
music.
inspired. Yeah.
only wish we had our battery operated Christmas lights.
That'd be maybe too much.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
2, 3, 4. Beware, pickpockets and cruise women, cops and politicians are drinking on spare. You better beware, you can still get a drink, dime for dime. Oh, have a real good time. Welcome to Storyville. Always leave with a wobble hotel. You gonna play some drums? Your rendezvous lounge is the dark night of your soul. Even your own mama won't feed you anymore. Your teeth are fell out. Your big eye gritty grind up $50 on the dog counter. So right of love, whiskey and warm gravy, your belly up at the bar. And Russ is getting nailed by Fast Eddie Carr. Lulu's crying over kill shot, who dug up with the cash. And Beulah Sam the Waffle Man shaking everybody's jelly roll. He's the one that has them. Swinging from the rafters of the rats, dazzling spasm. Big Charlie going to whistle through his nose and singing sweet if you ever come round this way, Tommy. You ask for Marguerite, beware. Big baggers and blues women, cops and politicians are singing upstairs. You better beware, you can still get a drink and a dang old dime. Have a real good time. Well, the Storyville, always leave with a wobble of a tail, yeah. Oh, shake it loose now. Oh, can I have some fries with that shake? Oh, yeah. Monk the drunk is still bred. I've been here for 3 days. Friends are cold kids from the green and taking that. Poor Riley Ride, the boy's still trying to melt that frigid top. His O's a pink icebox. Skilled heads of stress over the cafe, ole mistress. Lady M cooks pouring the blues on the racks. Waiting for you on Basin Street. Underneath the red lights where the saints and sinners meet. Trying to shut them down like joy to ghosts down the Scarlet Carnival. I'll always be around. When the cops came for Banjo Annie, they said, do you want to be dragged out or walk out like a lady? And she said, dragged out like a lady. Beware on big baggage, blue swimming. Cops about this on the drinking upstairs. You better beware. Still get a drink, a dime for dime. Have a mighty fine time. Well, the Storyville, always lead with a wobble of a tail. Yeah. Good right, good day, boom, dice, go back, skip the dice.
Thank you, thank you.